separation and religious fanatism were...
Alright, so we're back here with part 2. The stolen history of all religions is what we're watching when the survivors of Atlantis wake up. So, right now we're peering into the history of a people we really don't know. And I'm trying to promote my beliefs of them being the Canaanite people that left Africa and created Catholic and Christianity and Islam as we see it today, taking from their ancient pagan religion of worshiping the sun, Jupiter, and Venus.
Instituted later on by the fraudulent history and Islam were coexisting absolutely peacefully, and they were in a peaceful symbiosis, so to say. Artificial separation and religious fanatism were instituted later on by the fraudulent history with the only purpose to divide and conquer. The plan was to gradually make the genuine spiritual culture of the survivors to rot from inside, and then with the help of mass media to gradually introduce the parasitic culture and values and make them look natural for humans, which is not the case. The real the genuine spiritual culture of the survivors to rot from inside, and then with the help of mass media to gradually introduce the parasitic culture and values and make them look natural for humans, and then with the help of mass media to gradually introduce the parasitic culture and values and make them look natural for humans. The plan was to gradually make the genuine spiritual culture of the survivors to rot from inside, and then with the help of mass media to gradually introduce the parasitic culture and values and make them look natural for humans, which is not the case. The real humans do not belong to this movie of horrors that is now artificially imposed upon them. Both Christian and Muslim symbols were official emblems of the empire of the survivors and were used all over its territory. Here I want to give another actually very hilarious example of how the believers of Scaliger tried to explain uncomfortable artifacts. German royal regalia or insignia are the accessories and outfits which a German emperor or king would usually wear during coronation and other special occasions as signs of his royal power. And in rare 19th century German history books, we find a very curious depictions of some of these outfits. The mantle of the German king has Arabic inscriptions on it. Any German writing some of these outfits. The mantle of the German king has Arabic inscription. The mantle of the German king has Arabic inscriptions on it. Any German writing is nowhere to be seen. Has Arabic inscriptions on it. And the mantle of the German king has Arabic inscriptions on it.
Arabic inscriptions with no German.
But even more interesting,
see, the Germans were what we call the Neo-Assyrians, and they created the Goshen Baruch, the New Babylon. These are the people, the German and Dutch, who came from the Indo-Arabic people. And they are called the Indo-Aryans, Indo-Europeans. It's all being let out in the time that we're in now. The age of Aquarius. The Creator is giving the information in many different ways. Your ass has to piece it together. He said study to show yourself approved, not look at this shit, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know in plain simple facts. You have to piece it together because he understood these people were gonna do this. They were gonna hide history from you in many ways.
Find the official explanation of this amazing fact. This mantle must have been obtained by Frederick II when he took possessions of the treasures of Henry VI. So the very word must have been already points to the fact that this is pure fantasy. Follow the story further. And since at this time the regalia of the German kings was damaged, they decided to use the mantle that was already in their possession in their treasury. Let's follow their fantasy, yes. An old mantle can be damaged. That happens in life. After that, nobody in the entire kingdom or empire could get this brilliant, innovative idea to make a new mantle with their own German symbols. Or maybe there were super smart people who thought of making a new mantle,
the serpent seed.
but there wasn't enough funds in the entire empire to manufacture a new one, and the situation was so bad that the emperor had to wear second-hand clothes of unknown tribes. By the way, the very same book mentions that in the regalia,
this is the book, you gotta get this book.
There was the sword of the king. They didn't want to even make a sketch of it. There was only a brief mention that it looks very Asian. And needless to say, any of these items, they didn't want to even make a sketch of it. There was only a brief mention that it looks very Asian. 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 And needless to say, any of these items is not available in any public.
Have you been paying attention to the scribbling of all these different artifacts? How they have similar scribbling, similar angles, similar patterns, all stem from the Arabic people.
And everything you say on the phone, you write on an email is recorded forever. There is no way to get digital images of the vaults, of the content of the vaults of the museums, and we have to feel lucky that this sketch of the mantle survived in the old German book. Charles the Great, great Christian king. Wikipedia assures us that he campaigned against the people to his east, Christianizing them upon penalty of death, at times leading to events such as the massacre of Verdun. His mantle, his ceremonial outfit, is now kept in the ancient cathedral treasury. This fanatic Christian war.
Look what it looks like, the Nazi symbols with Islam. And the Nazi symbols and the Canaanite symbols, the swastika, which goes back to the ancient culture from Africa. They're from Africa, we're from Asia, bro. Asia and America.
That we become fanatics.
Pangea, but we gotta stop feeding into their history and understand that we're separate, and they are actually these Canaanites.
Catholic Cathedral of St. Vitus in Prague. We are being assured that this is purely Catholic cathedral Yet, on a central place, we see Orthodox writings.
Ugh.
These Italian and German swords are kept
Here we
in a
go.
museum in Toronto. The Arabic inscriptions on them are uncomfortable for the official history. In a museum in Toronto. The Arabic inscriptions on them are uncomfortable for the official history. In a central place, we see Orthodox writings.
Orthodox writings.
These Italian and German swords
Italian
are kept in a
and
museum in
German
Toronto.
swords.
The
With
Arabic
Arabic
inscriptions
inscriptions.
on them are uncomfortable for the official history.
They are
That is why
from the
they
Arabs.
fabricated a clever description
They are
and put it
Canaanites,
even besides
Canaanites, from the
these swords
Chammanites.
in the museum. The explanation is that at some later stage, these swords
They're
must
the
have
people
been
that
kept
went
in
to
some
genetic
Arabic
mutations
storage place, and
and
that's
lost
why,
their ability
for
to
the
use
purpose
the
of inventory,
properties
these
of
Arabic
their.
inscriptions were placed on them. Well, it is written in a museum on the wall, and people actually believe these things. They think there is some research behind it. However, the proof of this story is absolutely known. And most likely these old German and Italian swords bear Arabic inscriptions because at that time they were part of this big, vast culture of the survivors, which was using Arabic language as one of the main all over its vast territory, in which Germany and Italy are absolutely known. And most likely these old German and Italian swords bear Arabic inscriptions because at that time they were part of this big, vast culture of the survivors,
Big, vast
which was using
Canaanite
Arabic
people.
language as one of the main all over its vast territory, in which Germany and Italy were parts. This is a Viking ring kept in the Swedish History Museum. One day somebody decided to take a close look at it and discovered an Arabic writing mentioning Allah. A ring kept in the Swedish History Museum. One day somebody decided to take a close look at it and discovered an Arabic writing mentioning Allah. Countless number
Look
of
at the
churches
wings, the
have
Hermes
the
rings.
symbol of the
It's
crests
all their
and
forefathers,
Julian
ancient
Muslim
gods.
symbol of crests
They're
and
pagans,
on
bro.
their crosses. It seems that in the not so far
Symbols. Well, God
Christians
said
and
no
Muslims
symbols,
would exist
so I can
peacefully,
tell you
but
apart
since
from
they adopted
these
the new history,
people.
conflicts
For
started to fuel up.
symbols pervert their minds and their souls.
A very interesting piece of
This is the book you gotta get from 1466 to 1472. Afanasi Nikitin's Voyage Beyond Three Seas. You gotta get this book. One other book to get. King Drop, Luff in the Classroom. It's the book I add to your arsenals.
Literature has fortunately survived in medieval cleanup of books containing real history, and that is Voyage Beyond Three Seas, written by Afanasi Nikitin. The book is written in Russian. Well, most of the interesting thing is that right in the middle of the Russian text,
this painting is crazy.
elegantly inserts full passages in Arabic. Moreover,
Arabic.
they continue to be written with Russian letters. One example: O my Lord Jesus Christ, please be merciful upon the sinner Nikitin. After a few more sentences in this spirit, he says, O my Lord, Allah, my guiding star, Allah, Karim Allah, Ragim Allah, Karim Allah, Ragim Melio, Allah, him, Dulimo. And after that, he goes on in purely what we would call Christian spirit. And since he was...
Alright, so the creation of the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so So this goes right here. It goes. What I'm going to tell you is what I learned in secret briefings in the Vatican when I was a Jesuit priest under oath and induction. A Jesuit cardinal named Augustin Bea showed us how desperately the Roman Catholics wanted Jerusalem at the end of the 3rd century. You hear 3rd century, this always plays a key role. Parallel time history said most of what had happened in history happened after the 3rd century, and most of that happened after the 9th. So we have to understand BC is pretty much irrelevant. It's an echoing of a much recent history. Because of its religious history and its strategic location, the holy city was considered a priceless treasure. A scheme had to be developed to make Jerusalem a Roman Catholic city. The great untapped source of manpower that could do this job was the children of Ishmael, the Moors. The poor Arabs fell victim to one of the most clever plans ever devised by the power of darkness. So if you come down here, it goes. The solution was in Rome. Their religion had come from ancient Babylon. Who's ancient Babylons? Those are the Greeks and the Dutch, the Germans and the Dutch, and then before that was the Arabs, which is their forefathers. All right, so let's go on. And all it needed was a facelift. This didn't happen overnight, but began in the writings of the early church fathers. It was through their writings that a new religion would take shape. The statue of Jupiter in Rome was eventually called Saint Peter, and the statue of Venus was changed to the Virgin Mary. The site chosen for its headquarters was one of the 7 hills called Vaticanas, the place of diving serpent, where the satanic temple of Janus stood. So, serpent, divine serpent. So, it talks about all how they created Islam or Muhammadism. It shows you everything in here. But let's get back to it. So the reason why I want to say that is because they keep going back to Arabs, and the first pharaoh and pre-dynasty pharaoh of Egypt was Narmer. And if you look at Narmer, he's actually Arab. And he's a descendant of the Canaanite people. The Canaanite people that left Africa. And that's who the Arabic writings come from. These people, this Nimrod from Babylon. And if you look at this and just pull up an encyclopedia, Catholic encyclopedia, all your answers can be found through them. That's how silly it is. Like all these people, they just too much, man. Alright, so this is Canaan was the youngest son of Noah, second born son of Ham. Canaan's descendant became known as Canaanites. The Canaanites inhabited the land from Lebanon in the north of Gaza, in the southwest over the Sodom and Gomorrah in the southeast. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, and Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were the sons born after the flood. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Misrain. So Misrain is where Narmer, or the Girgashites is actually where Narmer came out of, but he ruled over Misraim from the north or the south. Okay, let's get on with it. And Phut, and Canaan. And Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites, and the Girgashites, and the Hivites, and the Archites, and the Sinites. So if you look at the Sinites, the Chinese, Japanese, Korean people, they're actually the Sinites. So Shina is a largely archaic Japanese name for China. The word was originally used neutral in both Chinese and Japanese, but came to be perceived as derogatory by the Chinese during the course of the Sino-Japanese Wars. See, Sino-Japanese, the Japanese religion is the Shinto, the Chinese used to be called Shina, Sinites. All this goes back to the Bible. And if you look at their writings is closely related to Arabic. You see the writings, the more ancient you go, you see the symbols, because they are these Canaanite people. They're one of the people groups. All this is here for us to find out, but we don't want to read. We don't care. We don't understand. The Creator says, study to show yourself approved. The Creator says, study to show yourself approved, and we think it's just to read the Bible, the King James Bible, every single day, and you're gonna, that's what I wanted you to do. No, He wanted you to prove these things correct through the Bible, through history, and set this up so people will understand, because we live in a time of confusion. This shows the people, and if you go into the Septuagint, it shows you in more depth the people. So if you go into this, as it says in here, that they're just serving Jupiter and Venus, calling them Peter, Saint Peter and the Virgin Mary. So if you look here, the origins of sun worship, Trinity, Babylon, and Sunday worship. Satan's church had its beginning at Babylon with the construction of the Tower of Babel. So right here it's already, the old Babylon is Arab Babylon. New Babylon is the Dutch and German Babylon. All these people are related on the plane of Shinar. Shinar, that's an ancient people group from their same family group. In the river Euphrates, many generations after the deluge, at the time of construction of Babylon at the Tower of Babel, mankind had multiplied and spoken one language. Like I said, one language where Arabic, Hebrew, and these things come from. Cush, who was the son of Ham and grandson of Noah, helped to plan with his son Nimrod. So the Canaanite people, or the Chamanite people, plotted, and the blueprint by which to rule the world of humanity through a wicked counterfeit religion. Nimrod was the originator of sun worship and founder of Babylon. Narmer was the originator of sun worship and founder of Babylon. The Bible translates called Targum says Nimrod became a mighty man of sin, a murderer of innocent men, and a rebel before the Lord. That's all they do is rebel against the Lord, and they get you to rebel against the Lord. The Shina is out here, the Arabic people, these are all related. The Dutch and German, who are Indo-Aryan, the Indian people, which are related to these people. You gotta see the picture. So if you look over here, it goes Canaan. So today we call them, in the Old Testament, as the name of one of the Ham's sons. In the lengthened form, Canana, Chanana, Canaan. You see, Canaan, Canaan. Watch this. Come on. Stop fronting.
Snake, feather, and man. Every Vishnu temple in Tamil Nadu has aspects connecting him to astronomy. Vishnu was a Tamil Asivaga Siddha who specialized in astronomical knowledge. His other names are Kannan, Parshvanath, Parthasarathi. Names are Kannan. His other names are Kannan. His other names are Kannan. His other names are Kannan, Parshvanath. Between these two cultures. Nevertheless, he retained the three unmistakable factors: snake, feather, and man. Every Vishnu temple in Tamil Nadu has aspects connecting him to astronomy. Vishnu was a Tamil Asivaga Siddha who specialized in astronomical knowledge. His other names are Kannan, Parshvanath, Parthasarathi.
So we understand their forefather's name is Karnan, Chanan. Okay?
Writing this book to be read by the audience, not for himself, obviously the normal people at that time found it absolutely natural to switch between Russian and Arabic at any given time. Later in the book we can even read Issa Ruhollah. In translation would mean something like Issa, the Spirit of Allah. Issa is the name of Jesus Christ. At this point, we need actually to coin a new word. Is this Islamic prayer or Islamo-Christian? And this is not the only book of
See the writings.
Similar passages are found in a number of very old Orthodox prayer books. Gunther Lulling was a German scholar who specialized in Islamic studies. He learned perfect Arabic